Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to the Overcome Yourself podcast. So, my name is Nicole, and I'm so excited to be here today with Chelsey Emma, and she's coming to us from literally halfway across the world. So, take it away, Chelsey, and introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what you do, who you help.
Hello, Nicole. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate that. And yes, I'm tuning in from the very sunny Gold Coast in Australia. That's on the east coast of Australia, and it's beautiful, beautiful here. We have sun every day in winter, and I just absolutely love it. I'm a heat seeker. If for anyone who relates to that, I don't do cold. So I'm very happy to move here a few years ago. My name is Chelsey Emma Ritson. I help personal brands. I help women who run their own businesses, who are the face of their businesses, to show up powerfully and confidently online so that they can attract in their most ideal clients and align clients with what they do.
That is amazing. That's incredible. So tell us a little bit about your journey. Did you overcome yourself in any way as you were making this your career? Like, tell us about that journey.
Yeah, so I thought that question was it's so big because, like I just said before we started recording, business is the biggest personal growth journey you will ever go on. If you ever want to start a business, you got to be prepared to grow. You got to be prepared to overcome so many things about yourself, about the way that you think about life. There's so many things that you have to overcome. And I think the most recent one, I was thinking about this earlier, I think the most recent one, that recent moment that I had to overcome myself was a period where I realized that I had been going for quite a while and I hadn't been seeing big changes and big shifts and big results. And I got to a point where I felt so crap. Like, I felt so crap in myself. And I realized that those moments and the feelings that we get from our body, the feelings that we get around that, are actually just communication. And so I realized that something was wrong, something was out of alignment. And I reached out for help from a coach. And I worked with him to realize, and alongside that, I also started reading the book Existential Kink, which, have you read that one, Nicole?
I haven't read it yet, but it keeps coming up. And so that one is on my list to read because people keep recommending it to me. So tell us about that.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me as well. People kept being like, oh, you need to read this book. I'm like, yeah, okay. I take that with a grain of salt because books can change people's lives in different ways. But when multiple people recommend the same book, that's when okay. And especially if you are more like spiritual, you believe in signs, and like I do, it's like, okay, if something is recommended to me, a sign's given to me more than 3 times, I know that that's meant for me. So I said, okay, I picked up that book, and it dives into any kind of like enjoyment, so it's a hard concept to grasp, but any kind of enjoyment that you might get out of doing the things that don't feel good, or out of attracting the things that don't feel conventionally good, in a similar way to like kink in the other realm, and the more in the realm that you hear that word more of. It's like something that's bad that actually feels good. And so one thing that I had to overcome, and I realized that working with the coach, was that there was an element of responsibility, of lack of responsibility, that I actually enjoyed. But I'd been demonizing that part of myself because, you're supposed to take responsibility. You're supposed to. If you don't take responsibility, that's bad, like that's wrong. And especially in business, especially when you are the face of your brand, especially when you're the one working with the clients and you're helping other people take responsibility for their lives, that element of like, oh crap, that huge realization that I had, oh my goodness, I think that I'm finding enjoyment in not taking responsibility. So after doing that, I had to overcome so many things in my mind about that: the judgment, the criticism, the thoughts about what that meant about me, and just continually let those things go. And the biggest piece here was giving myself so much compassion for just having a human experience, because that's all this is. We're just having a human experience as a soul, as a spirit. And I just had to keep dropping into that compassion. And through doing that, and through really deeply accepting that part of myself, I overcame the parts of myself that I was holding myself back through secretly enjoying a lack of responsibility. I overcame all of the self-sabotage behaviors that came along with that. And I stepped can I swear on your show? Yeah, okay. I stepped the fuck up. And I think that's
Love it.
like, that's the most powerful way to say it. I stepped the fuck up and I took responsibility and I started to take action every single day. Bigger actions, bigger actions, bigger actions, putting myself out there even more. And anytime that little voice started to creep in of like, oh, probably best to just not do anything today and switch on Netflix and crawl into bed, I was like, no, that's not me. That is not what I'm about. And I overcame so much within that. And it's opened up a huge realm of possibility and also results, because action creates results and
Yes.
clarity as well.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Now, gratitude. Did gratitude play a part of this journey, like practicing gratitude?
Yeah, I would say so. I've been in the entrepreneur space for about 6 years, and I had been starting, I've been starting different online businesses and all of that kind of stuff, and seeing how that all works. I started my first gratitude practice, I think that was in 2019. I'm going to say I got a gratitude journal gifted to me. And that was the first introduction to gratitude. And I did the gratitude journal every single day for 6 months. Now, people say habit building comes over 21 days or so. I would say it's longer, but definitely you want to give yourself a shorter time frame, because if I told myself I'd do that for 6 months, it probably would have been, yeah. But I did that journal every day for 6 months. And then I started to see how my life's changed in the way that, I'd be washing my hands in the sink and be like, wow, I am so grateful to have clean running water straight from this tap to wash my hands with. And I love having clean hands. So extra grateful there, And and since then, gratitude has been, yes, absolutely fundamental as part of my life, as part of what I do, as part of how I show up. So I believe gratitude is now very deeply ingrained in me and in my core, that it is always and consistently playing a part in the way that I show up and everything that I do.
Yes, and like those are some of the big themes in my book. Like we start off with gratitude. I love how and then I love how you incorporated habits, because that's part 2 of my book, right? It was learning how to incorporate practicing gratitude as a habit and those little success habits. And one of the things that my coach tells us all the time is that it takes 21 days to establish a habit, but it's going to take 3 to 6 months to start seeing the seeds sprouting from those habits of consistent action, And so I think it's so important that we focus on not the 6 months, but that the one day at a time. All you've got to do is write 3 things down one day at a time. That's it. That's the whole mission. 3 things every day. And just breaking it down into those baby steps. Now, I know that you help entrepreneurs with social media. So can you talk to us a little bit about how this all ties back into social media and being our authentic selves? Because we hear that a lot, but what does that mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I started my last business. So I'm in Australia, but I lived in New Zealand before this. I am a New Zealander by passport, but British by birth. So if anyone's like, where the heck is this accent from? It's all over. Don't even worry about it. But my last business in New Zealand was around social media coaching for business owners. And so I was helping business owners to understand social media and show up effectively. And in doing that, I needed to get on video on social media myself, because that's around the time that video was starting to become a real thing online. And so I showed up and I was like, okay, everything needs to be perfect. I need to have the right lighting. I need to have a clear skin and my hair needs to look good. I need to have a professional camera. I need to have a script. Like all of that is where I started. And it's gone from that all the way through to me being like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. I've just gone for like a beach walk. My hair's messy and I'm feeling like really tired, but I have something to say and gosh darn it, I'll say it. So I hop on a live on social media and I'll just share what I need to say, and the difference between those two things is authenticity, is confidence, and it is also around messaging. And so I would say those 3 things is what I'll talk into now. When you can get the right messaging, then you can really own your social media. And that is a huge element, a huge part of what I help my clients with, is like using the right language to get people over the line. It's powerful. It's so powerful. But apart from that, it's just around who are you and how are you showing up, and what is that confident version of yourself that is possible for you. And if you're not feeling confident online, if you're not feeling confident about putting yourself out there online, the biggest thing that I would say is action. And action cures fear, and competence builds confidence. And so if you are someone who's like, oh, I just don't know, I'm not sure, maybe I'll just think about it even more, the fear is just going to sit there, it's going to brew, it's going to, you know, it's going to age like a cheese, it might get moldy, I don't know. The fear will be there with you, and it will just continue to grow. But taking action, no matter with what, even if that's a post with your face on it, that is going to show you that, yes, you are safe. Yes, you are still okay. You're not going to die. You're not in any immediate danger, you know, all of those things. And so that's the biggest thing, is taking action on whatever you're feeling doubt about, whatever you're feeling unsure about. And then as well as that, the competent side of things. And I think that often doesn't get talked about enough. Like, people are like, yeah, okay, cool, I'll build up my confidence, I'll just take the action and I'll do it. But competence plays a huge role in that, because if you are sharing a message, like, for example, I'm talking about showing up online powerfully as a personal brand. If I wasn't already competent at that, it would be a lot harder for me to talk about. And I see that some people who are personal brands, maybe let's talk life coaches, who have not really coached, they haven't really been through a lot in their lives, but they did get a certification. And this is an area where I'm like, okay, but you know, you need some experience, you need some solid foundations here, that they'll go online and be like, oh, well, you know, this is the stuff I talked about in my certification and everything. But there's a bit of a lack of competence there. And so if there's someone like out there doing that and they're not feeling confident, it could be a matter of building up your competence and showing yourself that you can get results for people. Because once you can show yourself that you get results for people, obviously your confidence levels are going to go up. Like, I look at, sometimes, obviously I'm human, right? Like, sometimes my confidence goes down. I'm like, oh, you know, what am I doing? Am I even getting results? Like, am I doing the right thing? And then I just go and look at my reviews, my testimonials, the clients that have gotten on video and given me incredible video testimonials. And I'm like, yes, I can do this. Of course I can do this. I do this. And then it's like, cool, I have the competence, I have the proof for myself to build up that confidence as well. And so, yeah. And so when I talk about showing up on social media, there's basically 3 areas that I talk into. It's confidence, it's content, and it's consistency. And so build up those 3 things will help you so much in going from crickets, going from nothing on social media, all the way through to getting clients through social media.
Yes, that is gold. That is absolute gold. And something that is so important that you mentioned is there's a difference between confidence and competence. What book was it? I was just reading, I read it recently. I'll think of the name, but it was discussing the difference between how, as women, sometimes, as women, we tend to underestimate our competence. So we have high competence, but low confidence. And so working on that confidence, right? And then let's tie back in gratitude. Gratitude helps us adjust our perspective so that we can look at those testimonials, so that we can see the amazing things that we've helped our clients to do. Our competence is there, and we need to grow that confidence to be able to speak about those things. So I've met a lot of people who were great, like, you're already competent, right? And they're just not confident enough to talk about it. So it's practicing that gratitude to adjust your perspective so that you can appreciate those things, and then you can talk about them, right? So, oh my God, that's just absolutely fantastic. And it's just so important to differentiate those 2 things and understand that the loud people get the opportunities, right? And so we can be competent, but if we're not confident enough to, like, put our voices out there, like, say, I want this, we're not going to get it. And so maybe people who are not as competent, but they're more confident, will get those roles, right? So yeah, I absolutely love it. It's helping us, you know, as women, we need to support each other and really elevate ourselves to see each other, to see ourselves better. I'm trying to think of the name of the book. That's why I'm kind of stumbling on my words. What was it? It's up your
While
side.
you think of that, I also wanted to
The
say something else.
confidence code. That's what it is.
Oh, the
Sorry, go
confidence
ahead.
code. Oh, yes,
Yes.
yes. Yeah, I know that one. I don't know if I've read it, but maybe it's on my list. You know what? You've always got a list. The confidence code. Nice. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and I wanted to say as well on the side of gratitude and on the area of that and being like so grateful for all the wonderful things. I think that when building a gratitude practice, you also really important to then be grateful for everything, and even the stuff that might be perceived as bad or wrong or a failure as well. Like, for example, especially if you are someone who's helping clients or serving clients, and let's say that and this actually happened to me the other week, so I can talk straight into it. I had a discovery call with somebody, and on the call, she was telling me about all the ways that she wanted to use social media to grow her business. And I was like, awesome. And I was generating some ideas and thinking about the ways that I could help her in my new program. And I was like, okay, that all sounds good. That all sounds great. She's like, yes, I'm in 100%. It sounds amazing. And I said, cool. So I said I'd email her all the details, and I did. And then I heard nothing. And this is the thing. The funniest thing is, when we were on the call, I had an intuitive feeling that she was not the right client for me. And I'm still learning when to listen to that feeling in different situations. Of course, it's a practice. And I had this intuitive feeling like it's a no, like it's not meant to be. And I was like, oh, shush voice, she's so keen, and so then she's like, yeah, cool, I'm in. So I sent her the email with all the information and payment details and all of that kind of stuff. And then I heard nothing. And then I said, hey, I've just sent you an email, just to let you know. And she said, cool. And then she just sent me a text message back, and then that was it. And I didn't hear anything from her. Funnily enough, I then ran into her at an event on the Saturday, a few days later, and we said hi and everything like that. Still hadn't heard anything back. But when I ran into her at that event on Saturday, that intuitive, that little voice that was there on the call, it came very loud, and it was like, no, she is not meant for you. She is not right for you. And I was like, oh crap, like that's real, because I felt that when I saw her. I was like, oh my goodness, that's so real. And to this day, and this has just happened last week, she has not contacted me or paid me. And I'm so grateful for that, because I feel like now I know why, but sometimes we don't know why, but I can say now I do know why very soon. It's that she wasn't meant to be my client. And if I had have worked with her, it would have been really challenging and really difficult. And something was unaligned there. And so when things don't work out in the world of life or business, there's also like, cool, because everything is always working out for me, I get to be grateful for this too, even if you don't have an immediate knowledge of why in that moment, like I did.
Yes, that's a whole chapter in my book too. Oh my gosh, we're last section of the book is talking about seeing the superpower and what you thought was your weakness. And so like when I was little, I was told I talk too much, and now people pay me to talk to them, right? And so bringing it all together. So I absolutely love that example of being grateful for those things that we might not understand in the beginning. And so like one of the questions that I ask in my book is, dare I ask, how can I be grateful for this? And so when things happen and it's like, this is not going well, how can I be grateful for this? Like, where is that silver lining? What can I look at? How, even if I'm grateful that I can get myself out of this, like, you know what I mean? We don't have to be grateful. Because I read an article about toxic gratefulness. And so we don't have to be grateful and keep ourselves in bad situations. We can even be grateful that we have the power to change those things. So I just wanted to mention that, since I had just read about that. But I absolutely love that example. Listening to our intuition. I've had those clients too, where I did not listen to my intuition, and it was not a good thing. I was like, I should have listened. It was not worth that. So that's a fantastic example. Now, Chelsey, how can we get in touch with you? How can we work with you? Tell us about how we can follow you on social media.
Yeah, cool. So I would say the best place to find me is Instagram. I love showing up on Instagram, love my reels, and so that's at Chelsey with the Y, Chelsey, Emma _ That's my Instagram account. And you can find all the information that you need to work with me there, or give me a follow. And I would also love to know, like, if you go through my Instagram and you find me, send me a message and let me know your top takeaway from this episode, or a question that you really want answered. I am there in my DMs. I'm happy to answer. So happy to share that information with you. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like you're not sure what the next best thing is forward, absolutely happy to answer you, hop on a voice note and let you know my thoughts and guidance for that as well.
That is amazing. And all of those links are going to be available down in the show notes, in the comments, wherever it is that you're watching. So check out the, whatever's down there to get those links. And is there a free gift? We were talking about possibly a gift for the listeners, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
if you do hop onto my Instagram and you send me a message, then I'd be happy to also send you a free gift. At the moment, my thinking is that I've just created a 101 content prompts document. So that's, if you run a personal brand, if you run a business, then I've got 101 content prompts for anyone who gets stuck on creating content. And then if content isn't also an issue for you, then let me know as well. I'm not sure again when this will air, but if it's around the right timing, I've also got something else for you. So send me a message and let me know where you're at, and I will absolutely send you some stuff out for free.
Yes, that sounds amazing. So make sure you send her a message, because obviously, depending on when you listen to this, maybe it's 10 years from now and you're listening. Be sure to reach out to Chelsey and see what she's got in store for you, because I'm sure it's going to be amazing. So thank you so, so much for being here with us today, Chelsey. It has been absolutely amazing. Any final tips for our audience before we sign off here?
I would say if you're running a business and you're the face of your brand, the most important work that you can do is your internal work, anything that happens inside. And I think that, that, Nicole, it sounds like you're on a very similar wavelength here, but ultimately manage the fuck out of your energy. Manage your energy, manage your energy, manage your energy, and do that. And like you said, build your confidence to be aligned with your competence, and you'll smash it. Like, there's no holding you back. Once you realize how freaking powerful you are, there's no holding you back.
Yes, I love what you said, stepping in. Like, think about who is that confident version of you, and then just stepping into her. Like, there's no one that says you can't do that. There's no authority, there's no like committee that you've got to ask permission. You get to step into her. So I absolutely love it. Thank you so much, Chelsey. We will see you on the World Wide Web, and make sure you check out her links down below. See you next time.
Thanks,